Hi, I'm Adam Drake from Mugen Seiki Racing. Today I'm going to talk about a few engines from OS and do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison, tell you my feelings between the three engines and what track conditions you would want to use each of these engines in, and what is my engine of choice for both buggy and truck. Those three engines are the 2103 Type S, 2103 Type R, and the B21AD or Adam Drake Edition engine. So let's take a closer look. So here we have the three newest engines in the off-road line from OS. The B21 Adam Drake Edition engine that's been out for about a year, the B2103 Type R, and the B2103 Type S that were just released from OS. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the power band of each of these engines and kind of the application where you would want to use each of these engines, and then what's my engine of choice for both Nitro Buggy and Nitro Truck. So we're going to start with the Type S, which will have the least amount of power between these three engines. Still has plenty of power, really good overall speed, but it's gonna be the smoothest of these three. Some of the reason for that is because the Type S uses the new 22D carburetor, which will be a little bit more responsive, but overall is going to produce a little bit less power, similar to what the 22C carburetor that came on the 2102 engine. This engine uses a long stroke configuration and is a 3-port engine. So if you're on kind of a smaller track or lower grip track, this would probably provide the best power band to help put the power to the ground and be a little bit easier to drive, just because it overall has a little bit less power. The Type R will have a little bit more power, and for two main reasons. So this uses the same crankshaft, which is a long stroke, but it uses a sleeve that has a 5-port configuration that'll produce a little bit more overall power. And then it also uses the new 22E carburetor, which is more similar to the 21J. So this engine, again, it has a really smooth power band. Initially, it's a little bit softer on bottom than like the Adam Drake Edition engine, but overall it's going to just produce a little bit more power than the Type S. This engine you could use on either a little bit bigger track or potentially even for truggy racing. The B21 Adam Drake Edition engine is going to have the most power between these three, but it still has a very smooth power band, and I would say it also has the most linear power band between these three. This engine has more of almost like an electric feel, where it's just really linear. Bottom, top, and mid, it pulls all the way through the power band, the most linear of these three. Both the Type S and Type R are a little bit smoother initially, and then kind of come in a little bit more aggressive through the mid and top end. But again, overall, the B21 Adam Drake Edition engine is still my engine of choice for both buggy and truck, because I feel it produces the most power and also the power band that I enjoy to drive the most. All these engines are great. They just kind of have different power bands and kind of feel on the track. And again, I spent a lot of time with OS working to develop the power band that I like of the Adam Drake Edition engine, and that's still my engine of choice. As far as runtime between the three engines, the Type S, because of the carburetor and also the configuration, is going to get slightly better runtime than the Type R. The Type R, because it's producing a little more power, is naturally going to use a little bit more fuel. With the Adam Drake Edition engine, I would say it's really close to the Type S. On some tracks, the Type S may get a little bit better runtime. The Adam Drake Edition engine may get a little bit more runtime. So it just depends on the power band that you like and how efficient you drive. Sometimes if the engine isn't producing enough power, you'll drive a little bit deeper in the throttle and actually use more fuel. or if you have a little bit more power than what you need and you're able to drive smoother and more efficient, you may gain runtime. So these two are pretty similar, again, in runtime. The Type R is going to use a little bit more fuel, but for truggy, it has enough power to be able to pull even on some of the biggest tracks. So